Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey back here in 480 down from 720 just because I'm too lazy to try to time myself at 8 minutes or 10 minutes here. Now check out all of the sycamore seed snow. The sycamore seeds or the sycamore trees have truly started to let go their seeds, so you get this wonderful snow effect on the deck. And in more lively moments while it's happening, in the air as well, and often up your nose. There they are. You can't really see much, but there they are. Our beloved sycamores. I'm trying something today to stop that annoying click, 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 click that happens in most of my stuff. And so we'll see how it works. I don't want to put any tape on the machine and that sort of thing, but I've sort of flipped this hand holder strap around. Well, we'll find out. I had to take it off while I was doing videos for this fella out in Australia, because I sort of didn't want that going out there on the stuff he's going to use. And boy, it was a real bastard to get that thing back in that little tiny little loop that under that little tiny thing. But of course I had to do it one time anyway when I got the camera, so I figured it out. It got hooked back. It took about a half hour, but got hooked back on. I really don't like to use this thing without having something to grab hold of it on, because in my mind these little digital cameras just don't look like cameras to me. I mean, this to me, it's obviously a camera and it does a good job, but I can't, I'm just intrinsically not geared, my muscles aren't, I don't have that memory of holding this like a camera, like I would of another camera. That's kind of fun. Anyway, we'll see. So today, finally, well, actually, it's been a couple days. Yesterday was a day of selecting more still photographs to send to this fellow, and then writing out a sort of a blow-by-blow synopsis of each of the 12 videos, 8 that I did by myself and 4 Paul and I did did together, to send to him, and then loading it onto this Kingston G3 USB 3 flash drive that I bought off Amazon. And I had to reformat from reformat from like DOSFAT or something like that into OS X extended. I think it's journaled too. And that took me a little bit of time to learn how to do that, but I was finally able to do that. And oh, go away, get off my face. And so this morning I sat down, starting around 7 o'clock actually in the morning, and transferred these files, and then I'd already did a manuscript of the synopsis, because I rewatched all this stuff yesterday, late afternoon and evening. Paul watched a lot of it with me as well, and so I typed that up, and I got that all sort of double air bubble packaged, and drove it over to the Staples store where they've got a UPS outlet, and this guy that helped me was just absolutely first rate. He really was. First of all, he's kind of off the wall, and I kind of like off the wall people if they know what they're doing. And this guy I was for good. And it's just we're having like Sycamore snow. Well, anyway, so I'm in there, and of course, it's going overseas, so you have, there's a certain amount of customs paperwork and things you have to declare and that sort of thing. And I had all the addresses, printed out and taped properly and all this stuff, both mine and his, and the guy I'm sending it to, and he says, well, what's in there? I said, well, it's a flash drive that's got movie files on it, and I've got a 6-page document that tells what's in each of the files. And he says, okay, and then he's typing away, typing away, and he says, well, what's the value? Well, the value of the flash drive's $40, because that's what it cost for me to get it here. I mean, I wanted to get the the really fast high-end model. And all right, that's fine. He says, well, you get $100 free, insurance free. And I said, that's fine. I mean, that's the value of the physical material being sent. I've got, the intellectual material I've got copies of, so that's not an issue. And I said, well, I'd like it to get there relatively fast, but, let's see some prices. Well, it seems that UPS has 2 prices to go to Australia from Columbus, Ohio, or let's put it this way, Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio. And there's a $93 price, and there's a $101 price. And I thought, oh, well, all right, in for a penny, in for a pound. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's not like, it's the only game in town, really, unless I want to go up there and, deal with the U.S. Post Office, and there's no way I'm going to go up there and deal with the U.S. Post Office on trying to send something overseas like this. So, $93 it was, and he then took my double padded thing and he put this in like their UPS pouch, and then there was another sort of pouch on the front of it. He had to tape and glue on the front of that because it had all the customs documents in it and stuff. So in theory, this is going to get there by Tuesday, the end of the business day Tuesday here in the United States. Although it doesn't specifically say that. It said just, end of the day Tuesday. And I thought, well, I'm just going to fuck with this guy a little bit. And I said, is that end of the day Tuesday here? Or is that end of the day Tuesday over in Australia? I said, because, they're 14 hours ahead of us. He says, oh. He says, I think it's referring to Eastern time. I said, I would assume that. But he says, we get a lot of international stuff out of here, and you're the first person that ever asked. So we had a lot of fun, And then he said, well, what are these movie files? And I said, well, I'm working on a project with a guy in Australia, and he says, oh, what's it about? I said, well, he's sort of like some of my YouTube stuff, and he got in contact with me. And he says, well, oh, he says, oh, and I said, well, I have my own YouTube channel, and he found me, and he likes some of my stuff. And it hit me after I drove home. I thought, I understand some of these guys have these little cards that have like the YouTube logo on it, and then they have their name and their name of their channel, and then the the URL. I thought, well, maybe I ought to get some of those. I mean, this doesn't happen very often, but a couple times or three it has happened, and I thought, well, I just should just shot this guy. Well, he would have been receptive. He was one of these tall, thin, emaciated guys with the hole in his ear and all that stuff. But he was clearly very, very much on the ball and pleasant and good to interact with. So if you got to drop $93, it could have been a lot worse. So I came home, and then I did a little email-y stuff, and then I had to, well, I didn't have to. Nobody has to do any of this stuff, do we? I do like to look at the memorial tournament, and it's one of the ones you can actually watch live partially on the internet the first 2 days. And since I obviously didn't do it yesterday, which was its first day, because I was tied up all day doing this project, I was sitting in there watching some of this memorial tournament here until I came out here and made this video. So Paul's been watching some stuff, and he's been in and out, and he's in there now. He's in the house now. It's just a splendid day here. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It's wonderful. Now, well, I don't know what's afoot Saturday tomorrow, but I do know that on Sunday, June 1st, at 10:30, I'm going to have to go read at the service. Now, I make that sound like a bit of a task because I hadn't been scheduled to read, but the rector called me here yesterday and said, could I read? And I said, yes. Well, it's the bishop's visitation, and there's a confirmation, and there's going to be just a ton load of hoo-ha, and no, hell, they want me to read, I'll read. So then we had a guy die here just on the 29th, Ascension Day, and guess he ascended the same day as Christ did, huh? And this funeral is going to be on Tuesday, so I don't know if I'm going to read on that either, but I imagine I probably will. So it's going to be well, that's good. I mean, I like doing it. I feel privileged to be able to do this. I really do. Meanwhile, it's just a splendid, splendid day. Give you a little zap down to the creek here. Nothing in particular to see, but it sure is pretty. So bye-bye, YouTubers.